as National Youth Council, Government of the Gambia, and United Nations Development Program and partners, we had discussed and agreed that it is prudent and quite timely that after almost 1 year, after the establishment of some of these reform mechanisms, that we are able to have a dialogue. This dialogue is intended to be a platform where us, the young people, will give direct feedback to these different mechanisms.
This dialogue is aimed at mobilizing feedback from citizens, especially young people, on the various reform mechanisms and development issues.
The inclusion of youth representatives in all the reform processes is a manifestation of our commitment towards youth engagement and involvement in national development.
We are discussing one of the most important components of our transitional justice process. These are obviously the Reform, Truth, Reconciliation, Reparation Commission, Constitution Review Commission, Security Sectors Reform, and National Human Rights Commission. These are reforms and great determinants of the path we, Gambians as people, would chart to correct the legacy of representative rule also in our consolidated democracy as well as the constitutionalism.
Every reform that is listed there essentially wants to have the Gambia depart from whatever has happened to come up with a new face.
So our mandate basically is to review the 1997 Constitution and also come up with a new constitution for the Republic of the Gambia.
We have gone very far. Until now, we are at a stage where we are drafting our security sector reform strategy and the national security strategy.
The TRRC doesn't have an agenda to incriminate anybody. We are looking at past human rights abuses. And if somebody's name is mentioned, we are obligated to at least reach out to that individual and ask you questions.
In all these reform processes, we made sure that you are represented in them. Not only in our consultations nationwide, but also in the actual commissions themselves.
It is important that we participate in platforms and dialogues like this, and that platforms like these are created where we can have a dialogue, not just within ourselves as young people, but with the relevant stakeholders who are actually leading these reforms that we have going on in the country right now.
We had series of human rights violations, series of institutional failures, which were as a result of one person controlling everything. Now that we have a new government and they say that we are embarking on these reforms, it's important that young people take part, because it is young people who are mostly affected.
It was a very, very great engagement, and young people had the opportunity to face some of these stakeholders that are involved in the transitional justice process, to look at what has been going right, what has been going wrong, and what do you think we could do to improve that particular procedure.
We want full participation for the differently able people, especially the deaf people. We need sign language interpreters all over the reforms in the Gambia.
So we are challenging you as the UN to continue to engage in intergenerational dialogues, to continue to engage in conversations like this, to ask questions, to seek views, but do so within the law and constructively. Non-violent communication and using non-violent space is the way to go.
If I was 50% prepared to take part in the reforms, I am 100% more prepared to take part in this reform, and 100% much more prepared to enlighten others, to create more awareness on these reforms, to be able to come together as young people and know this is our cause, and if we don't take ownership of it, no one is going to do what we want or how we want them.